What is up, everybody? What is going on? It is Tuesday. It is February 26th. It is 11 a.m. on the dot. Although, actually, I'm about 25 seconds late, probably, because it didn't just turn 11 a.m. like a split second before I started this. It was probably halfway through 11 a.m. We're going to hit 11:01 in a quick minute here. But let's go ahead and get into it, guys. So we're going to start off. Let me go ahead and need to pop out my chat over there. Let me do that. And let me get all my show notes over here on this side. Okay, so yeah, welcome to another episode of VR 365 Live. We're up to episode 109. I think I may have said that yesterday, but we didn't finish the show yesterday. We really didn't even start the show yesterday. I'll get into that in just a second. Today is Tuesday. It is February 26th, and it is now 11:01 a.m. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn down this trailer a little bit for a second here. And I just want to get into what happened yesterday, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to cover this real quick, and then we're going to move on because we've got a lot of topics that are on the docket today. Now, a lot of these topics, we might be able to breeze through them relatively quickly, but who knows? So we've got a lot of stuff to get into. But what I wanted to say to start out the show is, first of all, I want to apologize to Techno Glitch and also Jim Hall for what happened yesterday. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. Basically, for those that did not see what happened or don't really know what happened, basically I started this show like I always do every single day, and I was planning on doing a regular show, and nothing had happened to me prior to the show that I can think of. There's nothing I can point to that would cause me to go off the rails. But basically what happened is I was reading a couple of comments in chat, and there were a couple of comments about me being late, basically, or the show being late. And I just exploded. I kind of went off and just went into this whole diatribe about, this is my show. I'm going to start this show whenever I want to start this show. F this, F that. And it was all quite embarrassing. And it was a bad look. Any way you slice it, it was a bad look. Okay. And so what I think happened was there must have been something that caused me to explode, and the comments in chat were like the proverbial straw, that broke the camel's back, but they definitely were not the cause of it. It's not like, oh my God, Techno Glitch, I'm so mad at Techno Glitch, I'm so mad at Jim Hall. Not even close. I don't know what that was. Honestly, I think basically what it was is I needed a day off, and I found a day off. By going through that explosion, I got myself a day off. So we'll go ahead and call it that. So basically, apologies all around. All right, now, speaking of apologies, I have another apology to make. Let me go ahead and change the trailer while I do this apology. This apology will have a trailer added to it. So let me see here. I need to get back to 1080p trailers. Okay, here we go. And let me find the trailer I want. Okay, this one right here. Okay, so the next apology I need to make is to developer Dark Curry. This is the developer of Undead Citadel. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I went on a rant a couple of days ago, and I was talking about PlayStation VR software. And I was basically saying that we have these two baskets of PlayStation VR software. One basket is legitimate PlayStation VR games where code has been written. They're actually being developed. They're really coming. And then we've got another batch where basically a developer is asked by somebody, hey, are you going to have a PlayStation VR version? And they're like, yeah, sure we are. As soon as we finish our game, we're going to have a PlayStation VR version. And then as soon as they stop talking, they're like, hey, maybe we should start a PlayStation VR version. So I kind of joked about there's these two baskets of PlayStation VR games. And I mentioned that Undead Citadel, this was one of my examples. I'm like, they probably haven't even started working on this. They haven't written a single line of code. It's not going to look anything like this, yada, yada, yada. I went on and on and on. And I come to find out that there is a PlayStation VR build of this game, that somebody has played the Undead Citadel PlayStation VR build. So this was a bad example, and here I am talking smack about Dark Curry, and it's a bad example because they actually do have a PlayStation VR build. So I want to apologize to developer Dark Curry. It was a bad example. My apologies. Please forgive me. Yada, yada, yada. But we still do have this problem, guys. We still do have a legitimate problem because there are so many PlayStation VR games that are being talked about where no lines of code have been written, but Undead Citadel is not one of them. So just wanted to clarify that. That is the second apology of the day. Okay, now, speaking of PlayStation VR games, and speaking of PlayStation VR games that are actually really in development, let's go to our next story of the day, and we're going to switch over here to our webby browser, and I need to click on there. Okay, here we go. Everybody's Golf VR. We also know this game, of course, as Hot Shots Golf VR. I'm not sure what it's going to be called when it comes here to the USA, when it comes to the UK. Of course, in Japan, they call it Everybody's Golf VR, and it has been rated by the Australian Classification Board. They do have a rating for this. This happened on February 21st. You can see the author is Clap Hands. That is the developer of the game. Publisher is Sony Interactive Entertainment. And we don't really have any other information on this other than the fact that it has been classified. It has been rated by their board. And usually when this happens, it's kind of a tip. It's kind of a pro tip that this game might be imminent. So Everybody's Golf VR could possibly be an imminent release. And one of the things that we have to remember about Everybody's Golf VR or Hot Shots Golf VR or whatever you want to call it, let me see if I can find a trailer for that. But I don't know what I would have it under. Would I have it under Hot Shots? See, the thing is, I know it as Hot Shots. Like, I think of Hot Shots every time I think of it. But it is also called Everybody's Golf VR, and I'm not finding the trailer either way. Let me go into the Sony area. PlayStation, Sony, PlayStation. And this is where the show grinds to a halt, is when I'm looking for a trailer that I can't find, and I still can't find it, so F it, we're just not going to worry about it. But yeah, basically, Everybody's Golf VR, Hot Shots Golf VR, this is the 4th most wanted PlayStation VR game on VRGameRankings.com. It is the 4th most wanted game. You've got Blood and Truth #1, you got Dreams #2, you got Star Child #3, and Everybody's Golf VR or Hot Shots Golf VR, that's the 4th most wanted PlayStation VR game. So we are very excited for this. We're looking forward to this. There's a lot of hype around this, so hopefully this is incoming. We've always had the date as spring 2019. And it's coming out in the spring in all likelihood, but I'm just saying this Australian classification does kind of tend to suggest that the release could be imminent. We might get some more information from this. You know, one of the interesting things though about this game, there's no official trailer for this game. Like there isn't an official trailer for Everybody's Golf VR or for Hot Shots Golf VR. So we'll probably see an official trailer hitting Sony's YouTube channel in the very near future, and then maybe we'll get an actual date for it. Okay, now, in terms of other games that are coming soon, or actually, no, this is not a good transition because it's not a game that's coming soon. But one of the things I've seen here, guys, one of the things we should be aware of is if you're looking to grab yourself the Invisible Hours, it is on sale. You can actually get the physical copy of the Invisible Hours for PlayStation VR at GameStop for $10. Yes, it is available right here at GameStop. You can buy a brand new version for $10. The normal price is $30. You can also buy a pre-owned version for $7.99. Or if you want to be crazy, you can buy the download for $30. But yeah, you know, Invisible Hours, I've talked about it a million different times. This, in my opinion, is the first VR movie. It is not a game, it is a movie, in my opinion. And it's awesome. It's an awesome movie. And I experienced it on PlayStation VR. That is where I experienced the entire thing on PlayStation VR. I watched the entire story unfold. And some people will say, well, man, PlayStation VR, isn't it like really pixelated and Vaseline and all that other stuff? Yeah, it is. It probably looks better on an Oculus Rift, an HTC Vive, something like that. But I still enjoyed the hell out of it on my PlayStation VR. And so if you want to grab a physical copy, $10, obviously, you got to be in the United States of America. Maybe, I mean, I don't know about like Mexico or possibly Canada. I don't know if they have GameStops there, and I don't know if the prices are the same, but maybe it's a North American kind of a deal. But yeah, that's not a bad deal. I saw that deal, wanted to mention that. Okay, so while we're on this kick of going through all these different PlayStation VR games, we might as well continue to bang away on it. And Trover Saves the Universe, could it be incoming? So I'm bouncing over here now. This is from a Brazilian website. And this, again, is very similar to what we just saw with Hot Shots Golf VR, with everybody's Golf VR. Trover Saves the Universe has been rated in Brazil. Okay, the developer of the game is Squanch Games, and the publisher is Gearbox. So Gearbox is going to be publishing this for Squanch Games, and it has been rated. What does that mean, folks? Does that mean we're going to get, are we going to get Trover Saves the Universe in the near term? And we might, you know, it is a game that should be coming up soon. Now, I should have the actual trailer for Trover Saves the Universe. So let me go ahead and find that. Trover Saves the Universe. I do have the trailer for this. And you know what? I'm going to turn this down because I think, I don't know, is this the one that has a lot of F-bombs in it? There's a trailer, I know there's a Squanch Games trailer that has a ton of F-bombs and all those kinds of things, so I wanted to kind of chill that out a little bit. We had enough F-bombs yesterday in the first couple of minutes of our aborted episode. But Trover Saves the Universe, this is a game we were looking forward to in the first quarter of 2019. This is Squanch Games. It's a platformer. It looks beautiful. You can see you control your guy just like that. Third-person VR gaming, but you're going to kind of have this hovering view over your third-person character. Very similar to Astrobot, very similar to Lucky's Tale, Bound, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, all these kinds of games. We've played them where you have a third-person view, but it's in VR, you're controlling it with your controller, and it works very well. And that is Trover Saves the Universe. We basically had this scheduled for first quarter 2019. Now that it's been reviewed by the Brazilian Review Board, that could be a hint that this is coming in the near term, but we don't have an actual release date yet. Okay, so that is Trover Saves the Universe. So did want to mention that really quick. Okay, again, we're going to be moving through a lot of quick hitter news stories today, a lot of little things that we need to get into. And so we're going to bounce back over to the Webby browser. And I got to mention this right here. Okay, so this is the Humble Store. Alien Isolation, the collection, is on sale. This is a great deal, guys. This normally goes for $50. I'm not talking about Alien Isolation all by itself. I'm talking about Alien Isolation and all the DLC as well, the complete bundle, the collection. And you can see here the normal price for this, $50. This is 75% off. You're getting it for $12.49. And then, of course, you can add the Mother VR mod to this, which transforms it and brings it into VR in a major way. It is pretty incredible. And you know what? I've played this. I've sampled this. I've checked this out. And I remember when I got in it and I checked it out, I didn't do a Let's Play of it. I don't think I was doing Let's Plays back then. So I should probably jump in here and actually do a Let's Play for this. And the thing is, I deleted this off of my hard drive because it was occupying like 35 gigs or some crazy thing like that. It was like 40 gigs. It was one of the biggest games I had. And I was playing this musical chairs thing with my hard drive and with my installed VR games. I've added another SSD. I got a 500 gig SSD. I added another one. Probably need to add another one to that as well. I need to keep stacking them on top of each other. And I can go ahead and re-download Alien Isolation. Incredible game. When I was in there checking it out in VR, the thought that popped into my head was, this is straight up AAA. Like, this is a straight up AAA VR game, but it's got a major asterisk by it because you got to use a mod. And the thing about mods is there's a lot of people out there that when they start hearing about mods and stuff, they just like they're like, oh, never mind. I don't want to bother with a mod. There's PC gamers out there. I know it seems kind of rare and unusual, but there's PC gamers out there that are like, you know what, if I can't buy it from a store and just play it right off a store, like if it isn't available on the Oculus Store or if it isn't available on Steam, the straight up VR version with the mod already intertwined with it, I'm not going to bother with it. There's a lot of people out there like that, and it's a damn shame because they're missing out on easily one of the 30 best VR games we have in all of VR gaming. You can kind of say the same thing about Doom 3 BFG. Again, it requires a mod, but people that aren't installing that mod and checking it out, you're missing one of the best VR games we have. And MainFan says it's the easiest mod ever created. Yeah, it literally requires like 3 or 4 steps. Not even that. I think you're basically just copying a file from GitHub, like you're downloading a file off GitHub and you're copying it into the Alien Isolation folder. And I think that's it. I think that's basically it. That's all you have to do. Paradise Decay in chat is saying Alien Isolation, one of my top 5 horrors in VR, scary as hell. The mod is a simple copy and paste. It's just a file. Absolutely. And yeah, you want to talk about scary. It's one thing being in terrifying environments. It's another thing to have a freaking xenomorph that is chasing your ass. You are the prey. They are the hunter. You are the prey, and you are hiding from this thing. Now, I barely touched this game. I barely scratched the surface. Go ahead, take your drink right there. I barely got into this. I did see the alien. Like, I got to the part where I saw the alien, but check this out. I never saw any of the weird zombie android things that are walking around. And those guys might be even more creepy than the alien itself. So that's how far I got into this. I spent like 5 hours playing it, but I never got to the actual androids or whatever. So I definitely need to download this thing in, get back in it, check it out again, do the mod, hop back in there and figure out what's going on. Now that I got another hard drive, I absolutely need to do that. Okay, so that is Alien Isolation. It is on sale. Okay, now, other things that are going on today. Let's stay in our Webby browser here for a second, and we have a brand new PlayStation VR release that came out today. Honor and Duty D-Day is available today. The developer is Strange Games Studios. You can grab this for $10, or if you're a PlayStation Plus member, it is $9. Now, there have been some betas for this, and I've been in a number of the betas. And, well, actually, no, I haven't been in a number of them. I gone in there one time, maybe twice, and I tried this out, playing it, and it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. You know, you're straight up in a multiplayer situation. You can play with a lot of people. A lot of people are ranting and raving about it. It's only $10, so it's not a super expensive thing. In fact, why don't we bounce over to the PlayStation VR subreddit real quick? And I'm going to go ahead and refresh this one time because I'm sure people are talking about this. See, look, Honor and Duty D-Day, released today, 16 vs. 16 multiplayer. It's only £9. You know, 55 comments. A lot of people in there talking about this. That's kind of how the graphics look. You know, it's a bit simplistic. The number one response in here, definitely worth picking up if you like Firewall 0 Hour. The multiplayer games I played just now were full of kind and funny people using their headset. Developers are working on updates and content. Next to casual multiplayer, there is also a Battle Royale mode to keep you busy. Yeah, see, the nice thing about this is the price is right. You're talking $10. And you can hop in there, you can play some multiplayer, you can run around. I think I was having a little bit of problem. Phil Yarn says, it's cool, but those graphics make me want to puke. Yeah, the graphics, it's not a visual stunner. But the thing is, if you're going to have 16 by 16 multiplayer, oh, here's Kev Gret. This was submitted 3 hours ago by Kev Gret, our one and only, just bumped my mic there, our one and only Kev Gret. And you can see here the number one response in this thread, immediate purchase. Since I had $5 in my wallet already, it only cost me about $3.65. And yeah, a lot of people talking about this. That is Honor and Duty D-Day. I always kind of wonder, though, when they have so many betas and stuff, whether people kind of get burned out on the betas, and then by the time the game comes out, they're like kind of, you know, meh. You know, they're kind of meh about it. But the price is a nice price, $10. And so, you know, it's definitely a good deal. So that is available. That is out there. That is out there right about now. Okay, so one thing I did want to get into, and I was going to get into this a little bit yesterday, I wanted to talk a little bit about HoloLens 2. I know, obviously, we had our show on Sunday that was all HoloLens all the time. You know, it dominated that episode. And I said that I wasn't going to talk about HoloLens 2 for another 5 months probably. Well, I lied, because we do have a little bit more HoloLens discussion to get into. But the first thing I wanted to get into in regards to HoloLens is we've heard a lot of conflicting reports surrounding the field of view. And I think it's kind of, you know, people talking about the field of view has doubled and the field of view is a lot bigger than Magic Leap and all this sorts of stuff. And I think it's a little bit blown out of proportion. And so what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go to our image window, and I'm going to show you guys an image that kind of breaks down what the real field of view is for HoloLens 2. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We're going to switch over here. This is the window. And so we've got a comparison shot that is showing off HoloLens 1, which is that purple box in the menu in the middle there. That's HoloLens 1, the purple. And then green is HoloLens 2. And red is Magic Leap 1. And so this is a breakdown of the field of view, the actual field of view that we're talking about here. And so there's been a lot of confusion about this. Now, HoloLens 1 is 30 degrees by 17.5 degrees. It is much more widescreen. It is a 16:9 ratio. Now, HoloLens 2, 43 degrees by 29 degrees. Now that isn't double. That is not double. We did not double the 30 to 60. We did not double the 17.5 to 35. It's not double. But what they're doing here is they're talking about the effective area. And they went to a 3:2 aspect ratio instead of a 16:9 aspect ratio. So you can see that HoloLens 2 is almost as tall as Magic Leap 1. It's a little bit wider than Magic Leap 1, but Magic Leap 1 is a tiny bit more vertical with that 30 degrees on the vertical compared to 29. Of course, HoloLens is a little bit wider at 43 degrees by 29. Okay, so let's go back over here to our standard scene. And let me go ahead and just throw on a little HoloLens 2 video on the screen why we happen to be talking about this here. But yeah, I mean, it's because you go to a lot of these different websites and a lot of people are reporting that the HoloLens field of view is 52 degrees. But where do they get this? Like, I don't understand where they get this 52 degrees, because the horizontal field of view is 43. The vertical field of view is 29. I don't understand where they're getting the 52 degrees. Of course, I was never that good in geometry in the first place. Like, I was getting C's in geometry. Math, geometry, not necessarily my strong suit. But another thing I did want to talk about in relationship to HoloLens was some of the demos that they showed off there at Mobile World Congress. Because on Sunday, when I was watching, Sunday, when I was doing the different shows that I was doing on Sunday, I had not seen this. I hadn't had a chance to sit down and actually see this. And then I was able to see it later on Sunday. And I was going to report on this yesterday. Obviously, you know, that didn't happen. But here we are now. And this is a demo video that is going on. This is one of the demos that they showed at Mobile World Congress. Now, first of all, just looking at it on her head, it's a much smaller device, you know, so it's a lot sleeker and smaller. It's not a big bubbleless device. It looks a little bit smaller. Now, they put a lot of the weight there on the back of the head. That's where a lot of the components are. And she's walking around and she's kind of showing you how you can grab a webby browser. You can grab a webby browser, baby. That just makes it freaking the killer app of all killer apps, you know, but it is nice. Some of the things that she's showing off here, like a couple of seconds ago, she was showing off how you can kind of touch the holograms and they kind of light up. And I'm sure there's probably audio cues as well. See, the thing is, when we're missing actual haptics, one of the things that you can do to trick somebody is if you have no haptics whatsoever because you're just using your real hands, is that when you touch things, like make little doo, 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 you know, make little audio cues, and there's something about the audio cue right when you're touching something that it actually tricks your brain and you kind of feel like you actually have a little bit of haptics going on. And so this little scene right here, she's talking about how they were playing around with different kind of levers and they were trying to figure out what kind of lever really works for humans. What do they really like? And so she's showing you how, you know, you adjust these different levers. And they found out that humans, you know, there's that one there. She's just using her finger, moving it back and forth like that. Then she goes to the other one and does it, and does a different type of thing as well. You know, kind of pushing it along like that. And then the third one apparently is the one that was the winner of the day, because they found out that people really like it when you grab it and pull it along and you zip it back and forth like that, and it kind of has that, you know, feel, which again, I think that's audio haptics, basically. They're using audio haptics on that. But I thought the demonstrations were pretty good. I think HoloLens 2 is impressive. It is an impressive device. It's $3,500. It's not going to matter for us. In fact, they didn't show any games of any kind. You know, there haven't been any game demos with HoloLens for the longest time. So there's no gaming that's coming out of this anytime in the near term. They don't have their version of Dr. Gordbort's or anything like that. So it's going to be a while before this becomes a consumer-based product. We did actually hear, they talked about HoloLens 3, and they said that HoloLens 3 is already on their roadmap, and that HoloLens 3, maybe by that point, they'll start leaning a little bit more consumer oriented. But it's 100% meant for industry, because industry is the thing that can afford this right now. So they're being very smart about it. But I don't know that this is necessarily the magic leap killer. I do like, they did really improve, you know, the 21 points of articulation. She's about to play the piano right here, and it does a very convincing job of playing the piano. It's not messing up. It's analyzing her fingers very, very well. This whole entire demo was done, you know, very well. A marvelous demo, which very impressive. 21 points of articulation. The hand tracking is very good. Then you've got this other little hologram that's floating around. It's going to land right in her hand there. You know, this little hummingbird, she's looking at it, etc., etc. So HoloLens 2, I think it's looking pretty good. We don't really need to think about it too much, but I don't know that it's like this magic leap killer. We saw the FOV and the difference is modest at best. In fact, honestly, the Magic Leap has slightly more vertical FOV. So it's not like everybody thinks like HoloLens 2, like the initial thought on HoloLens 2 was they way surpassed Magic Leap, and now Magic Leap has to catch up. But the reality is they barely caught up with the Magic Leap FOV that they have already. You know, they've got better hand sensing, like right there, the 21 points of articulation, like that is better than what Magic Leap is doing, but Magic Leap can do a very similar thing. Mixed reality, MRTV is in the building again from Barcelona. This guy does not stop. He continues to bang away. I'm curious, Sebastian, oh, he just tried the HoloLens 2. That is awesome. Did you try the 21 points of articulation, brah? How awesome was that? What do you think? Because Sebastian, I believe Sebastian may have tried Magic Leap at some point, may have demoed Magic Leap. Sebastian, did you get to put your hands around the holograms? Did you get to touch those holograms? Oh, he's saying it blows the Magic Leap out of the water. Wow. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the field of view is very similar. The actual resolution and everything, it's funny. We got to get Noah on here, actually. We need to have a debate with Noah and ask him, is Magic Leap dead in the water now, brah? But yeah, see how it's lighting up as she's touching the holograms there. And I mean, all of this stuff looks very effortless. Like they've really done a great job of grabbing and moving it around. So that's cool. But let's go ahead and move on, guys. Let's go ahead and move on. I've got another story to get to. And let's actually go to our Webby browser here. I'm going to switch over to our Webby browser. And let's go to Upload VR. And let's give Upload VR a brand new refresh here. And I'm not going to get into this Spider-Man thing. I haven't checked this out. But I did want to talk about this very briefly. Okay, so the Oculus Rift is out of stock at a lot of retailers. And it's available mainly online. We've also heard a little bit of talk from people on the Oculus Rift subreddit that they can't find a Rift anywhere. And I just wanted to bring this up very briefly because, you know what, I do have this conspiracy theory, right? I have a conspiracy theory that the Rift S is a replacement for the Oculus Rift. And it's going to be announced on March 28th at PAX East. Nate Mitchell is going to walk up on stage. He's going to hold up a box. Rift S, baby, available right now. Now, I know it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense because Oculus Quest would be so close to that, and it's mixed messages. You don't want to do that. But if this like Rift out of stock thing, if this really, really continues, it does kind of fuel the fire of this idea that, oh, they're clearing the channel out. You know, they're clearing the channel out. They're making way for the Rift S, brah. The Rift S is coming a lot sooner than we all thought. That's what I would like to think. See, Rendered Reality says maybe clearing inventory for Rift S. Exactly. That's exactly my conspiracy theory. That's what I want to think, but I kind of doubt it. Probably not actually going to be the case, but that's what I'm dreaming about. Okay, so one of the things that we do cover every single day of the week, of course, I missed it yesterday because we didn't have our show yesterday, and that was my fault, and that is the Oculus Daily Deal. We cover the Oculus Daily Deal every single day, except for yesterday, and we're going to cover it today as well. And so the Oculus Daily Deal is Kobold VR Experience, Kobold Chapter 1. And here is another blind spot for me, guys. I have a lot of them. Like, I have not played or heard of every VR game that is out there known to man. As much as you would like to think I would have heard of all of them, I haven't. I've got a blind spot for a lot of them. And Kobold VR Experience, this is a blind spot. Kobold Chapter 1. It's going for $5. The normal price is $10. We're talking about a 50% discount here. The sale, you got a little over 12 hours left in this deal. Now, there's like a movie, and then there's also like a VR experience. I didn't know too much about this. Let's see, the developer is Another World, and this arrived back on October 25th of last year. So it hasn't been around all that long. They've also got a website for this. I might as well click on it and check it out. We can check this out live and direct. Koboldhorror.com. So they've got a website. There's a film and a VR experience. Kobold is a new kind of horror experience that blurs the line between cinema and VR gaming, because after you've seen the movie, you can put on your VR headset and step into the story. That's kind of a cool idea, actually. It's not a bad idea. And they've got a trailer that has like the movie and all of that stuff. But you know what I did is I grabbed a trailer that just has kind of the video game part of it, because I'm more into the video game aspect. You know, VR 365, we're all about gaming. But this little movie does look kind of cool. Anytime you have a kid running around in pajamas that looks hella scared and he's involved in a horror experience, that's a cool idea. I like it. So why don't we go ahead and switch over to our standard scene. And I'm going to go ahead and pump up this Microsoft mixed, this trailer that we got going on. I'm going to pump this up, and we're going to switch over to Kobold. So just a sec here.
And of course,
go ahead and pump this up.
Not only does the HoloLens 2 recognize me and my hands, it also recognizes the world.
Let's check out this Kobold trailer, in-game footage. Not actually, this isn't actually a trailer, it's in-game footage.
Hey guys, you are not going to believe this. I finally found the location of the Hunter house, and I drove down there yesterday to scout it out. It really is in the middle of nowhere, and it looks completely unchanged from the archive photos. I'm pretty sure no one's lived there for years, so tomorrow I'm going to drive down again and see if I can find a way to get in. I can't get my head around how insane this is. It's like an undisturbed crime scene. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to find inside.
Okay, so that is Kobold, the VR experience, episode 1, the VR experience. And this, supposedly, this is actual footage from the game. Like, that looks pretty good to me. I'm looking at this, and the game engine looks pretty good. I mean, obviously, you're using a flashlight most of the time here, kind of Resident Evil 7 to a little degree there. But at one point, you see this rat running around, and the rat looks pretty good. I mean, the rat looks better than the Asgard's Wrath rat, right? You know, you've got the, see, there's the rat right there. I think that's a better rat than Asgard's Wrath. So that looks pretty good. Now, Paradise Decay in chat says Thomas from Voodoo DE, he really liked Kobold, but said it's very short, but it's very well done. Now, oh, there's the creepy kid. Okay, so you got to have a creepy kid when you're in VR and you're in a horror experience. So yeah, it's very short, but it's only $5. So that is Kobold VR experience. Looks kind of cool. You got a nice keyboard, a nice monitor, and all that stuff going on. I mean, graphically does look pretty cool. So that is Kobold, the daily deal of the day. Okay, now, yeah, can you pick up and tickle the rat? Probably not. And MainFan says that it's also available on Steam right now with a 79% discount. So if you don't want to grab it on the Oculus Store, you can also do that. I'm assuming the Steam version also has the VR version and full support of the VR version, because sometimes things get a little bit weird with some of these games. We have some games that are available on Oculus and Steam, but for some reason the Steam version doesn't have the VR support or whatever. Every once in a while we get into a slightly weird situation with that, but that looks pretty creepy, looks pretty cool. That's Kobold. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over here to our webby browser, and you know what, speaking of games that are on Steam or they're coming to Steam very soon, I did want to mention Jet X. Jet X is going to release in March. Holy moly. JetX for PC and VR is ready to release in March. All right, so here's the deal. We don't have an exact release date, but this is JetX. I think this game looks really good, really good. The developer is Singularity Lab, publisher is Fibram, and we've seen the trailer for this. It kind of reminds me of Sprint Vector a little bit, you know. It kind of has that Sprint Vector vibe. You're kind of moving through these environments like, you know, going super fast through these environments. You're kind of flying through things, and very colorful, very bright, very vibrant. I like the look of this game. The trailer looks really good as well, and it's headed in, it's going to be headed to Steam in March, so we'll probably get a locked-in release date within another week or so. So that's good news. There's a lot of games that are starting to pile up and starting to make their way to us in the month of March. In fact, speaking of games that are coming in March, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to, let's go to our tweet window actually. So let's go back to our standard scene here, and let's go ahead and bounce over to our tweet window. And so this is in the news as well. So you guys might remember the Wizards Enhanced Edition is headed to, it's headed to the PlayStation VR on March 12th. So Wizards, the Enhanced Edition, is coming to PlayStation VR on March 12th. And this is a tweet. Perp Games says, "We are thrilled to announce that the Wizards game is coming to market on April 26th. Become a wizard in an epic high fantasy world through the power of PlayStation VR." So wait a minute. I thought the Wizards is coming out on March 12th. This says April 26th. Well, this is actually a physical copy. So there is going to be a physical copy of the Wizards. Perp Games is a publisher that works with a lot of smaller companies that have PlayStation VR games and they want to get a physical version out there. And Perp Games helps a lot of these smaller developers get out a physical version. And so the Wizards Enhanced Edition, there will be a physical version on April 26th. So we do have that to look forward to. And of course, the Wizards Enhanced Edition is coming on March 12th to PlayStation VR, but also the Steam VR version is also going to get all of the enhanced features and updates that the PlayStation VR version is going to get as well. So that's good news all the way around. So now, what else did we want to get into? Well, you know what? Facebook has a new patent, and I thought we could check that out a little bit. So I'm going to switch over here to our full screen 1080p images, and this is where we were talking about the HoloLens, and we're talking about the FOV on HoloLens. But I'm going to go ahead and grab a different image real quick here, and let's pop this on the screen. Okay, so now we're looking at a different image here, and this is the patent that Facebook has recently patented, and this is finger, hand, and wrist tracking that is going to come via an armband. So you put this wearable device basically on your wrist. Now it's going to have an array of sensors, and what the sensors are going to do, it's going to have a circuit inside it, a position computation circuit that will take information derived from the electrical signals that are running through your wrist that basically control how your fingers are moving, how your wrist is moving, how your hand is turning, and it's going to use machine learning. I'm not kidding. It's going to use machine learning to take these electrical signals and accurately describe the hand position or your wrist position of the user in real time. So yeah, you guys think we might be going to gloves. Actually, let's go ahead and switch over here to our Webby browser. And I'm going to bounce back over here to Upload VR. And let's see if I can find this story here on Upload VR. I know it's on here somewhere. We're going to scroll down a little bit here. And here it is. Facebook files patent for VR finger tracking and AI armband. Yeah, machine learning is built right into it. But I mean, this is starting to get a little bit freaky, guys, because we're talking about electrical signals. What this thing does is it's analyzing the electrical signals that are shooting through your wrist area, basically from your brain. I guess it's basically the signals that are going from your brain that are shot to your hand, which causes your hand to do various movements, and it causes your Rift to move, and it causes your hand to move. And so what Facebook is doing is they're going to analyze these signals as they're traveling using machine learning and using the position computation circuit that's going to be inside there to accurately map where your fingers are going, where your wrist is going, where your hand is going. Now, a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, why are we doing this? This doesn't make sense because we have enough optical cameras that are all over the damn place. You know, we've got enough optical cameras that can analyze this. We've already just seen, you know, we saw what Microsoft did with HoloLens 2. 21 points of articulation. You saw the lady playing the piano. It was all done very well, right? Why would we want to have something on our wrist? It seems kind of like going backwards. Well, one of the things we have to remember is all of these patents happen at different times. And they happen for different reasons. Sometimes they just want to cover their ass. Like, let's see here. This was published on January 31st of this year, this patent. But it was filed back on July 27th, 2017. And it says, a system includes a wearable device including sensors arranged at different locations on the wearable device. Each sensor measures electrical signals transmitted from a wrist or arm of a user. A position computation circuit is coupled to the sensors. The position computation circuit computes using information derived from the electrical signals with a machine learning model, an output that describes a hand position of a hand of the wrist or arm of the user. And the one nice thing about having something like this is think about occlusion. Think about every time your hand is completely occluded by your body or whatever. So there are still some possibilities here for having some kind of little band that we just throw on, you know, a simple thing that just goes on our wrist and it's analyzing our fingers just absolutely precisely. So I don't know if this is something we're going to see at some point in the future from Facebook for some kind of Rift or Oculus based product, but it is something to keep our eyes on. Blockchain, 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 baby. That's what it's all about. Okay, let's see. What else did we want to get into? Okay, well, one of the next things we can go into, let's go back over to Upload VR. And one of the things that a lot of these different websites have been talking about over the last 2 days is, let's go ahead and scroll down here. Okay, so Vive Focus, 5G hubs, all of this stuff, right? You know, HTC 5G hub. Yeah, we were going to get a demonstration, right, about how we're going to start streaming actual VR stuff directly to the headset. And I actually have not read this, to be honest. This was the one story I was a little bit late on. But you know what I did do? I grabbed a trailer that talks all about it. Well, at least it talks about this HTC 5G hub. So why don't we go ahead and check this trailer out and we can come back and take a deeper look at this story. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce over here to our standard scene. And let me go ahead and grab this HTC 5G hub trailer, and we'll see what 5G is all about. So let's go ahead and grab this pup. Okay, well, that is HTC's 5G hub. I don't know exactly when that is going to be available. And the thing about the whole 5G thing is honestly, until we get to 2020, and even not even early in 2020, like 5G is not going to be available everywhere. So this is very much a future-facing product. But obviously, they've worked with Qualcomm. You can see Seeking Dawn up there, which Seeking Dawn broke my computer, so I haven't played Seeking Dawn in quite some time. But we do see that's the Vive Cosmos, right? I believe that is the Vive Cosmos that we're seeing there. And so you can buy this little 5G hub device, and it's kind of an interesting idea. You've got a battery that lasts all day long, so you take it with you everywhere. You can link your phone up to it. You can link 20 different devices up to it. You can link your Vive Cosmos to it. And the idea is that it's going to be able to stream stuff right to your headset. But I'm wondering exactly how this happens. How does it exactly stream to the headset is my question, because the modem is in this hub. It's not in the Vive Cosmos. So I still have some questions about this. But anyway, HTC is doing some things. Let's go ahead and bounce back over to our Webby browser here. And let me take a closer look at this story. I probably should have read this before starting our show. Let's see. So Vive was showing its newest headset, the Focus Plus, streaming content via its new 5G hub this week. HTC had its hub positioned at the top of a booth, much like you'd have a Vive base station. Locked away in a cupboard below was a huge box of wires that I was told simulated a real 5G network. Of course, all of this has to be taken at HTC's word, you know, what I saw was a shaky foundation for something hugely promising. I was able to fight my way through Superhot's first level on a standalone VR headset. The experience was streaming from a PC elsewhere on the booth. The very fact that any of it worked at all was kind of amazing. Yeah, this sounds kind of complicated. Like, it sounds like I really need to read this story to be able to talk about it a hell of a lot more. But yeah, see, this is not the test. The test that I'm thinking about, I'm more interested in the Steam VR test. The Steam VR test that AT&T, Intel, and Ericsson was going to do. Like, I actually got this confused between the two. Okay, let's go to Road to VR because they also have a little story about this. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And yeah, I'm going to kind of read this article because I didn't read it in advance. But let's see. HTC announced a new product out of left field at Mobile World Congress, the 5G Hub Mobile Hotspot. You can connect up to 20 concurrent devices. You can take it with you on the go. Edge computing is an important part, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so I couldn't get much closer to the Edge today than HTC's booth setup, which had a fully functional miniaturized mock-up of cloud-based rendering farm, 60 gigahertz 5G transponders, and a 5G hub to wirelessly serve up VR content. The promise is, at some point during the 5G Hub's product cycle, users will be able to stream Steam VR apps to VR devices that simply don't have the compute power at their disposal. So Cosmos was teased to be compatible with smartphones, and I think that particular piece of the puzzle is mostly answered by the inclusion of 5G Hub. I still don't understand how all of this works, but I guess they got the same demo, Superhot VR. So under the pressure of a throng of onlookers, I can't say I was exactly good at replicating my awesome red guy beatdown skills that I had learned, blah, 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 blah. That said, I wasn't so much concerned with performing well, as I was pushing the limits of the biggest factor involved in the cloud-based VR rendering, latency. Moving my head around the scene at medium speed, black bars crept into the periphery of my field of view, the telltale sign that my head was moving faster than the hardware could serve up frames. Yeah, so it sounds like, you know, it's kind of a conceptual demo. We're not quite there yet, but this future is coming. This future is absolutely coming. So that is HTC's 5G hub. All right, I definitely need to look more into this and figure out more of that before I report on it. So apologies for not having like a detailed breakdown on that. But you know what? Let's go back to our standard scene here And we're pretty much almost done with the show at this point, guys. But one thing I did want to get into before I bounce out of here, I do have enough time to get into this, and that is the thumbnail image that I have for today's show. It was the thumbnail image yesterday. It was kind of a, maybe I should have used a different thumbnail now. But one thing I did want to get into just really quick here is Serious Sam, The Last Hope. So you want to talk about late to the party, guys? Talk about late to the party. All right, so somehow we were talking a lot about wavy-ass wave shooters, and I think part of this was spurred on by Dick Wild 2. And so I started talking about Dick Wild 2, and then I think I was mentioning that my favorite wave shooter of all time is probably Blasters of the Universe, and that I think Blasters of the Universe is the best wave shooter out there. And I also gave a little bit of a shout out to the Brookhaven Experiment as another wave shooter that I really like. And MameFan happened to mention that, hey, Anthony has never played Serious Sam The Last Hope. And so how am I going to comment on wavy-ass wave shooters if I haven't played quite possibly the granddaddy of them all? Like maybe the most polished wave shooter we have in all of VR, Serious Sam The Last Hope. And so I finally played that. I've actually played this over the last couple of days. I have tried this out and I have my initial thoughts on this. And you know what I will say straight up? Like, there is no question in my mind that this is one of the 5 best wave shooters that are out there, period. And it's probably the best looking, like the most graphically impressive wave shooter we've ever seen. See, the thing is, I've played a couple of these Serious Sam games. I've played Serious Sam 3, BFE or whatever it is. Basically, Serious Sam 3 is mostly what I've played. And the thing is, Serious Sam 3 is based on a much older game. Serious Sam The Last Hope, this is a game that I've always kind of like, I've always heard about it. I've always heard people talk about it. But every time I think about Serious Sam The Last Hope, I think, oh, this is a game that was designed 180 degrees. It's a front-facing experience. Nothing is ever coming behind you. And I had always heard that, and I always kind of thought, that's kind of lame. It's kind of like it was made for the original Oculus Rift, which only had the 2 sensors. And we had a lot of experiences in VR's early days that were designed to be a front-facing deal because they had to think about people that only had an Oculus, they have an Oculus Rift and they only have those 2 sensors. They need to have a front-facing experience. So in the early days of VR, we were kind of limited. And I think a lot of developers, they couldn't count on people having a 3rd or 4th sensor. And they didn't know how popular the HTC Vive might be, or Windows Mixed Reality, or any of these other things. And so we were kind of limited with design here. And so it's part of the reason I've never played this, is I always kind of thought, yeah, it's front facing, it's 180 degrees. Well, anyway, bottom line, I finally got in here. And let me tell you guys, you do not need 360 degrees. You absolutely don't. You have enough to deal with just the 180 degrees that you do not need to look behind you. So the fact that this is 180 degrees and it's front facing, that is not bad at all. The other thing I'll say about it is difficulty is pretty freaking strong with this game. Now, I've just gotten started with it and I'm just learning how to play it, and I'm not a badass by any stretch of the imagination, but I've already had to dial this puppy back. I've already had to set it on easy, and even on easy, I'm barely getting past some of these levels, some of these early levels that I've been trying. But graphically, it is very impressive. The sounds are impressive. There's a lot of stuff going on. It is very chaotic. It is incredibly chaotic. But one of the nice things about it is I can't say that this is pure and utter chaos, because there is some game mechanics that are going on here where your health can really be depleted, but you'll see these little parachutes in the distance where a little heart is like on a parachute, and you basically shoot it, you grab that heart, and you can rejuvenate your health. You can add other weapons and stuff. So as you're playing it, even though it is super hard, you can kind of rejuvenate yourself. And that's important. That's an important aspect of it. And I haven't even seen like a lot of these bosses, and a lot of the stuff that is in this trailer, I haven't even seen it yet because I'm just barely getting into it. And it's almost like they just almost throw too much shit at you, but it is very impressive, colorful as can be, and definitely one of the best wave shooters we got out there. There's just no question about it. Okay, checking out chat. Some people are probably going to weigh in on Serious Sam. Paradise Decay says, Serious Sam Last Hope is amazing. I had fun in co-op with a rando. See, I haven't even tried co-op at all either. Person says, I'm playing Serious Sam the second encounter after the show. Muppet Ahmed says, yeah, looks great. I haven't tried this bow and arrow, by the way, at all. I've only tried a lot of the basic guns. Steve Bishop says, it's the best wave shooter in scope and scale. The boss fights are nice. I haven't even gotten to a boss fight. That is how little, like that is how I've barely scratched the surface. I've seen some of these little backgrounds. I've dealt with the spiders, and it is weird when you've got a million spiders, but luckily the spiders are alien looking, so they don't quite bother me quite as much. Phil Yearn is saying, yeah, at Steve Bishop, which is the best, Resident Evil or Subnautica? Okay, that's a completely different question there. And I don't think you can judge, like, how do you judge what's better, Resident Evil or Subnautica? Completely different games. Yeah. And some people are talking about 4G phone service and some other stuff like that. Yeah, Royce Shorts is saying Lag City. Ask MRTV. He tried it. Yeah, let's go back to where MRTV was. MRTV. MRTV checked out a long time ago, so he just checked in real quick. But he's saying, yeah, it is so much better than Magic Leap. He's talking about the HoloLens 2. He also tried the Vario headset. You know, my question for Sebastian in terms of trying that Varo headset is, did he notice any difference? Like, did he notice anything? Like, was there any visual, anything that he noticed that gave away that it's kind of like smoke and mirrors is what they're doing in there? Because you know what, the center is refreshing at like 70 something hertz or 60 something hertz, right? And then the outside area is refreshing at 90 hertz, and then the center has that incredibly high resolution, and then the outside area is basically an HTC Vive Pro resolution. And my number one question is, when you're playing it, like, do you notice anything, or do you just not notice it at all? Because for me, I feel like I would notice it. That would be my number one question for Sebastian, but I'm sure he's done a show on it, so we could probably find that out if we check a show later. All right, guys. Well, you know what? I got through most of the stuff that I wanted to get to today. You know what? Actually, let's do one more thing. So MRTV said that 5G is not ready for prime time. And I don't even know, like, honestly, I doubt that 5G demonstration was even truly legit. Like, a lot of times I've heard a lot of stories about all these different 5G demonstrations. Like, they did a 5G demonstration in Honolulu. You know, there was a bunch of major companies there that did like a 5G demonstration. And even that, like, if you read up on that, it sounds like they're basically all flying by the seats of their pants. I don't think any of these companies fully know what the hell they're doing with 5G. I think they all think 5G is going to be a big thing, but I think none of them really know what the hell is going on. So 5G, I'm kind of done with 5G. I think I'm going to stop mentioning 5G altogether. Instead, I'll just mention blockchain. Blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. Okay, so one last little tidbit I wanted to get into. Let's go back to our webby browser here. And one last thing I wanted to get into. So let's go over here to the subreddits. And you know what? Ah, damn it. I think it's, is it the mixed reality subreddit or is it Windows MR? Let me look up Windows MR. It's one of these subreddits. Okay, Windows MR. I'm not sure if it was this one or it was mixed reality. Yeah, I don't think it's this one. I think it's mixed reality. Okay, so let me switch over to the mixed reality subreddit. Do they have a link? No. Okay, let's go mixed reality. Yeah, see, we got a lot of different subreddits that are floating around here. But let's try mixed reality. Is this a subreddit? Okay, yeah. Okay, I think this is the one that I wanna go to here. Man, I'm not finding it on here either. Hold on a second, folks. We'll get to it. You know what? Damn it. I screwed up. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to switch over to my standard scene for a second. I will find this. Hold on a second. I'm going to go into private mode. Where is this? Never mind. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll just do it tomorrow. I can't find it where it is. All right, so let me just go ahead and get my outro logo on the screen, and I will get the heck out of Dodge. So the good news, folks, the good news is this show still exists. Everything is fine. Everything is great. I had a lot of well-wishers yesterday. Like, a lot of people replied to that episode and were like, Anthony, we love you, man. You know, keep on doing what you're doing. You know, we love your show. Forget about these self-entitled people. And you know what? Jim H. and Techno Glitch, they're not entitled. No, the show should kind of start at the same time every day, roughly. You know, I do put in my show notes. I put in my show notes that we start around 11 a.m. And, you know, so some days we might start 11:15. Some days we might start at 11:10. Some days 11:30. Some days we might even start at like 10:50. You know, maybe I'll start 10 minutes early sometimes. But I just want to say thank you to everybody on like Twitter, on Discord, or anywhere else. A lot of well wishes. I think some people got a little bit worried that I went so psycho that I'm basically going to be like, F it, I quit. No more VR 365. F it, I quit. I'm giving up. There's no more YouTube show. It's all over. It's all over. No, that's not going to happen, guys. That's not going to happen. I think basically what happened yesterday is I think it's just kind of like, what do you call it? It's like, it's burnout, basically. I think it was just like a burnout kind of a situation. And I think I just needed a day off. And so I created a day off subconsciously by basically going into a tirade and exploding on a couple people in chat. And so I think it's just, I think the grind maybe caught up with me for a little bit. Now, some people will say, well, Anthony, here's what you should really do. What you should really do is not do a show every day. Don't do a show every day. It's impossible. You can't do a show every single day. You're going to burn out. Of course you're going to burn out. But you know what? It's VR 365, man. I thought about maybe not having a show on Sunday and then maybe not having a show on Wednesday, like taking 2 days off. Like take off Sunday and take off Wednesday and do a show every other day, a live stream like this, except for Sunday and Wednesday. But then I thought, no, it's not VR 365. That ain't VR 365. VR 365 is VR gaming news and discussion 365 days a year. That's what VR 365 is all about. That is the idea. That's the concept. And I think if I take off every Sunday and every Wednesday, that's not VR 365. Yeah, I could post a Let's Play on Sunday. I could post a Let's Play on Wednesday. And I could say, well, yeah, we still have a show every day. There's a Let's Play. But nah, I think I'm going to continue to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same thing that I've always done. I'm going to continue to bang out a show every single day. And every once in a while, I will probably explode. Every once in a while, I am going to explode. And unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. And when I explode, it means I need to take a day off. And I'll take a day off. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'll think about it. And I'll figure something out. Yeah, Crunchy says VR 360. So I think that's kind of the reality. And man, I am so embarrassed. Trust me, I am incredibly embarrassed with my antics that are caught on live TV. It's one thing to be at like somebody's birthday party or something and be like a drunk asshole and go off on a tangent where there's like 20 people that are at the birthday party that see you make a complete and utter ass of yourself. It's another thing entirely to be a complete and utter ass in front of possibly unknown quantities of viewers on the internet. And I got to be careful with that. Like, I really got to be careful with that. Because one of the things I do, Conrad Lawrence says, is yesterday's show still available? No, that show was deleted. And I was kind of conflicted about deleting it because there were so many great comments that were left. You know what I probably should have did? I probably should have copied, like screenshotted all the comments, and I didn't. That would have been a good idea. I should have screenshotted all the comments and saved the comments, because there were a lot of very good comments that really, you know, awesome support from all you guys. I truly appreciate the support. Like, there's a lot of people that really like this show, and they want this show to continue, and, you know, that's huge, and that means a lot. But dude, I watched that show, and maybe the first couple of F-bombs were okay, but it just got way out of control. And that's me, man. It's part of me. See, what happens is when I blow up and I get into some kind of thing where I go off the rails, I go all the way off the rails. And I do this funny thing with my wife every once in a while. Let me tell you guys a quick little story about me and my wife. Like, me and my wife will be somewhere public, right? Like a restaurant or something. We'll be like having dinner or something. And I will mention something to my wife that will piss her the F off. And she'll look at me with this look like, I know you didn't just say that in public. And then what happens is not only, like, I will go completely off the rails and I'll be like, oh, really? Well, how about I say it really freaking loud? And I'll make it a scene. Like, I don't know what it is about me. Like, I will go completely off the rails. Has anybody seen the movie Scarface? You know, in the movie Scarface where he's eating at a restaurant, and like people are staring at him and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm the bad guy. Everybody look at the bad guy. You know, and he goes off into that tangent. That's basically me. Like, every time something blows up, I go completely off the rails. And yesterday it was caught on camera. And so it was just one of those things. But anyway, guys, don't worry about it. Everything is all good. Sponge720 says, I do a funny thing with my wife once in a while. This should be good. Yeah, okay, so I better get out of here, guys, before I cause even more problems. But I will be back tomorrow around 11 a.m. Pacific time-ish. And we'll get into a lot more stuff tomorrow. So look forward to that. Everybody have a wonderful Tuesday. Maybe Job will be in the building tomorrow as well. We'll have to see what happens. But I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Take it easy. Thanks for all the support. I appreciate it so much. All the well wishes on Twitter, Discord, on the show yesterday, everything. I truly appreciate it. It means a ton. I guess every time I'm feeling down and blue, just go off on a crazy tangent, and then I'll get some wonderful words of encouragement from everybody. So I guess that's the way to do it, right? All right, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good one. Take it easy. Later. Oh, Jim Hall has a video. No, don't share it, Jim. Please destruct that video. Destroy it. All right, I'll see everybody later. Take it easy. Bye.